What's going on, everyone? It's Lane here, and today we are going to talk about the NBA Finals, and I'll give my prediction at the end. Let's start off with what's at stake between both teams and their star players, as this is a legacy-defining series for both Luka Doncic and Jason Tatum. On the Mavericks side of things, they were one of the hottest teams in the league since the trade deadline. After trading for Daniel Gafford, who helped the team's defense, they went on to beat not one, not two, but three 50-win teams, which hasn't been done since the 2010 Lakers. The Clippers were without Kawhi for all but one game, but they are still a deep team. The Thunder were the first seed, and SGA was in the MVP conversation this year, but at the end of the day, the Thunder are a young team, and this was their first playoff run. But the Timberwolves were the Mavericks' biggest challenge, as they looked like title favorites after beating the Nuggets in 7. Instead, the Mavericks manhandled the Wolves. So after all this, what would it mean for the Mavs if they won the championship? And what would it mean for Luka and Kyrie as players? If the Mavericks win, then Luka would be en route to becoming a first-ballot Hall of Famer. Before you say it's too early, Luka already has 5 All-NBA first-team appearances, which is more than Stephen Curry has. Obviously, this wouldn't mean that Luka is above Curry all time, because he is still ways away. However, this would be enough to put Luka in the top 40 range, and make him the 8th best point guard, which would put him above guys like John Stockton and Russell Westbrook, but below Steve Nash and Isaiah Thomas. But also, if the Mavs win the finals, Kyrie fans will be pushing some ugly narratives, just because he won a championship without LeBron. Even now, I see people put Kyrie in conversations with Curry, but we all know there's a large gap between the two. I do believe Kyrie is a top 75 player of all time, but he is not top 50. And a second championship would not change that. Now let's look at it from the Celtics' perspective. They've been championship favorites since before the preseason, and they have lived up to that hype in the regular season. But in the playoffs, they haven't faced any real competition. The Heat without Jimmy Butler and the Cavs without Donovan Mitchell for 2 games were both pushovers. And even though they swept the Pacers, all 4 games could have gone either way. Now, unlike the Mavericks, who don't have any pressure to win right now, the Celtics have all the pressure in the world. If they don't win this year, there's a good chance they don't win at all with Tatum and Brown. I'm not saying they're going to blow up the team if they don't win the finals, but they'll never have a playoff run like this again, especially with the Bucks and Sixers coming back healthy next year. When I look at the difference between the Mavs playoff run and the Celtics playoff run, it reminds me of that scene in Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, when they're looking for the wishing star and the path changes depending on who's holding the map.
Mine says, we skip through the pocket full of posies.
What?
Then drift down the river of relaxation. That sounds fun.
No fair. Why does he get the good one?
Wander the fields of quick and easy solutions and arrive at the star. Oh, wow. That sounds wonderful. Oh, but no. This is your quest. I don't want to impose.
You hold him up.
Now that we looked at what each team has on the line, it's time to give out my official prediction. I will be taking the Dallas Mavericks in 6 games, because even though the Celtics have the better roster on paper, it all comes down to your star players, and Luka has been the best player in this year's playoffs. And being overwhelming favorites isn't always a good thing. Just look at the 2019 Warriors. Another reason is that even though Kristaps Porzingis is expected to return, the Celtics' interior defense is just not good enough. Andrew Nembhard and TJ McConnell were driving to the rim with ease in the last round. Going from Nembhard and McConnell to Luka and Kyrie is a huge difference, and we've seen what Luka has done while being defended by Jaden McDaniels, arguably the best wing defender in the NBA. Even when Luka gets double-teamed, he can just pass to Kyrie to take over, or lob to Lively, Gafford, or Derek Jones. Speaking of Derek Lively, he has been the best defensive player in this year's playoffs. And with that, I believe Luka will be this year's Finals MVP. That's all for today. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications.